Welcome, everybody, to a brand new episode of STSL Off the Track. And it is now week 5 of Monster Jam and Monster Trucks in general. And tonight, we're going to have our usual co host starting off with Nafagen.
That is right. Glad to be back and ready to talk about some more monsters as February Monster Trucks is now officially underway.
And also, our second co host for tonight here, it is Dorzy.
Yeah, already week 5 into the season and getting ready to talk about some news.
All right, and before we get there, of course, we're going to start off every other episode like usually. But starting off with in other news and starting off with the NFL. This week, it is the big matchup from 4 years ago. Might as well call it the rematch because it is once again the Kansas City Chiefs and the San Francisco 49ers. However, this time it is in the Las Vegas, Nevada in Allegiant Stadium. And now, while it is this Sunday, it is never too early nor too late to put in your picks right now. So I'm going to start off with Naf. Jen, what is your pick for Super Bowl?
Anything that doesn't have Taylor Swift involved. So I'm going to go with the 49ers, Brock Purdy, George Kittle, all of them, Christian McCaffrey to get their first Super Bowl win.
All right, now, Dorzy, this actually I don't even think actually no, they're both the same conference. So who is your pick for the Super Bowl this year?
I 100% agree with Jeremy. I kind of want to see Christian McCaffrey win his first Super Bowl. It's kind of crazy that he hasn't done that first one yet.
Right. And so I guess my pick here, and I, you know, probably saying this is gonna curse them and end up losing. Which if I do, oh well. But it is the San Francisco 49ers. I guess the matchup they had 4 years ago, I guess I did go for the Chiefs. I just didn't care about that season enough. But this time I did watch the whole entire season, and the 49ers were strong. Might as well, they were actually coming into this game. They were the number one seed out of the NFC. So we'll see how they end up on this match, and this time taking in the West. Uh, but that is pretty much sports related. Other than in a couple days, actually, 16 days in this recording, but on the day of this drop, it is 15 days and we're gonna get baseball here in just a couple weeks, which I'm most excited about. Um, after what I'll say is like a terrible season last season, except for the playoffs. The playoffs was amazing. But I hope this season ends up better. But we're yet to get into spring training, so of course we're gonna get through that. But also, I think in sports, I don't know anything else. Do you guys?
Much.
Yeah, just waiting for a Super Bowl.
And now, of course, so last episode, me and Zach talked about the WWE Royal Rumble for a moment. Now we do have to talk about a big moment that happened this past Friday night on Friday Night SmackDown. And Dorzy, what happened at that peculiar moment?
So, Roman Reigns was already out in the middle of the ring with Paul Heyman, and I believe the Bloodline was all out there as well. And Cody came out, was talking about how he wants his that specific title. So it was the one that his dad had and got taken away. And then he's like, "But I'm not gonna do it at WrestleMania." And then I don't know, it's been getting a lot of hate lately, like a lot of heat and hate all over the world. And he brings out The Rock, and now it's seeming like it's gonna be Rock versus Roman, and Cody is not finishing the story.
Yeah, sad to sad as it, I mean, not sad. It's just more infuriating. I know fans, especially last year, they wanted Rock versus Roman to happen in a more fitting place and in a more fitting time, but that doesn't happen, and then which ends up leading to Cody winning the Rumble last year and faces Roman, of course, loses. But this year, I think, man, I don't know, man. Like I said, it's infuriating. Cody wins the Rumble twice, goes on to finish the story, but then brings out The Rock to uh, to face his cousins. And honestly, uh, if they did this last year, I think it would have been more fitting. But this year, I think it's just more bad timing. Of course, last year The Rock um, wasn't able to do it because of scheduling conflicts with his other act with his acting career. Um, but this time around, we'll see. I think one of the things that could happen, more like this, my own speculation is that this could end up like a triple threat, much like the WrestleMania 30 main event match between Batista, Randy Orton, and Daniel Bryan. I think it could be the same, almost the exact same situation here. Only Cody Rhodes doesn't have to face an authority figure this time, or you know, with the underdog facing the authority figure this time around. I think this will be just straight up a triple threat match with Rock, Cody, and Roman. But that is just my guess. We still have like a few months left to go until WrestleMania, but that is pretty much about it for wrestling.
Yeah, 100% agree with you. I was gonna say this is kind of remind me of the Yes Movement with Daniel Bryan. Crazy to say 10 years ago now, unbelievable. But I don't know. My gut reaction is they're playing along with this. I think this is part of the story, and this is all what's the word? Just kayfabe. I think they're just leading up to something because they are acknowledging it. They're acknowledging the Rocky sucks chants on the past Monday Night Raw. The announcers did, and Drew McIntyre's promo against Cody. I don't know. It's very confusing.
Right. And plus, none of this would have actually happened if, for one, CM Punk got injured, and two, if Seth Rollins didn't get injured either. But yeah, that'll be about it. I don't know any other news that's going to happen that happened this past weekend or that's about to happen this weekend. But we'll straight off go into some monster trucks, and we'll start off with the shows that we had this past weekend. Starting off with the Ram Motorsport Spectacular in Winnipeg, Manitoba. Our good friend Caden Allen there was there on Sunday. Go check out his channel for the show, a full show that's over there on his channel. We also have the Kicker Monster Truck Tour or show in Amarillo, Texas. Then we also have the Monsters of Destruction in Madison, Wisconsin. No Limits Monster Trucks in Dripping Springs, Texas. Then we had Hot Wheels Monster Truck Live. Now we'll talk about this other show that was overseas here in a moment. So we'll go through the ones that are here in the States. First off was Perio, Illinois, in Charleston, West Virginia. Now we're going to get to the show that had, for the first time, dirt. And this was overseas in Paris, France. Let's talk about that for a moment. I'll start off with Nafagen.
Yeah, Hot Wheels dirt. Okay, in all seriousness, it is awesome to finally see that Hot Wheels is using dirt in their shows, and it's just adding to the quality to it, I believe. I mean, you finally have racing that's not straight line. You got Chicago style, actual long jump competition, other than just trucks trying to jump over crushed cars on concrete. So it's definitely adding a lot more elements and honestly a lot more excitement to Hot Wheels because it is a whole lot better than cars and concrete, what they started off with.
No, absolutely. It was definitely like a cooler sight to see something different, something new. Seeing 10 branded Hot Wheels bodies at the same time. Hot Wheels Racer #1 came back. I think V8 Bomber was there as well. If
Yep,
I'm
V8 Bomber and
incorrect.
Race Ace,
And Race Ace. They had
all of
pretty
them
much
there.
all of them were there. And yeah, like what Jeremy said with the long jump, it was definitely, you could see that the trucks were definitely getting more uh, air. The Chicago style racing was cool to see with the Hot Wheels trucks. This is definitely a step in the right direction with Hot Wheels.
Right. And so, so when I heard, actually, when I saw the pictures, I believe our friend Joseph Rodriguez was the first one to hand them out to us. Um, I was really surprised. Actually, no, there was like stories going around too, and a couple of our friends shared it to us. Um, we were as shocked as as we all were. Basically, like we didn't think they were gonna start doing dirt shows more specifically in Paris, France. Um, and then a big floor too, which is actually a great start. Um, because in dirt shows like in arenas, it's really just common. More specifically with Monster Jam, uh, since they go to basically the same arenas that Hot Wheels does. But they did it in a big arena overseas. So honestly, that is very cool to see. I hope they start doing them um, through on the coming weeks. Just not just overseas, but I hope they start doing them here in the states as well. As much as we like the old Thunder National setup, it's time that they start using dirt. It's been they This tour has been around for like 4 or 5 years now, and dirt is a big part of monster truck shows, right? But I was as surprised as anyone else was, and I hope they start doing this from now on. And so start moving on to other shows we had this past weekend. The 2X Monster Trucks Live Tour in Las Vegas, Nevada, and the Las Vegas Motor Speedway Dirt Track. Looks like they had a huge show over there, uh, and a great time as well. With a bit of a lineup change. So actually, last week last week I said that Rob Potter was driving Bounty Hunter. This time it is the man and the owner himself, Jimmy Crane, driving his own truck, and then Brutal came back out under Dan Dahlgren, and once again Mike Brister with Hot Tamale, Don Green with Scarlet Bandit, and Strike Bite with Rob Potter, and then we had Monster Truck Wars in Memphis, Tennessee, and apparently this lineup also gets updated the week after. For Memphis, we had Travis Rife driving Black Widow, Mike Harper with Outlaw, Alan Pizzo, the Tennessee native, and Predator, and then Preston Collins in Shark Attack. Lexington, Kentucky also had the same lineup as I announced last week, and then Graham, Texas, also um, with the same lineup, except for this time we had Alan Fenstermaker with the Equalizer, which is also the unfinished, which is the unfinished TNT unfinished business champion. And then we had West Valley City, Utah, with All Star Monster Truck Tour. Uh, Actually, no, hold on. So I think this last weekend also, I don't remember honestly. I'm starting not to remember things anymore. I'm still young, but I'm not that old. Brandon Swick with Geronimo, Austin Tweedy, Monster Patrol, Eric Swanson, Obsessed, pretty obsessed with Misha Ferris, uh, Jacob Ladwig with Rat Attack, and USA One with Rodney Tweedy. And then we had the Nitro Tour in Augusta, Georgia. And then that is all the independent shows we had this last week. And now we're going to move on to the Jam. Here we're going to start off with the arenas, starting off with Fargo, North Dakota. Now I know before we started, we didn't get to decide who gets to announce what shows. Uh, so I'll just pick them out. Dorsey will do Rhode Island, and wait, hold on. Let me check this list. Yes, so Dorsey will be doing Rhode Island. Am I looking at the right list? What week are we now?
What was this weekend?
Okay, no, I'm good. Yeah, I'm so lost sometimes. Okay, so I'll have Dorsey do Rhode Island and Nafrijan with New York. So I'll go ahead and start off with Fargo, North Dakota. We had 2 shows this past weekend on one day. And I'm going to start off with the first show on Saturday afternoon. Your racing winner was the Knoxville Man, Jurassic Attack, and Dalton Widener, defeating his Team Throttle teammate, Velociraptor. And then we also had for the skills challenge win was Brandon Vincent and Gravedigger. I'm losing names out here now. Donut competition goes to Tony Oaks and Thunder Roars. And then for the freestyle competition was once again Thunder Roars. But for the overall goes to Jurassic Attack, beating the robotic dino just 1 point ahead. Dalton Widener is your first overall winner of the weekend. And then moving on to show 2. Brandon Vincent and Gravedigger defeated Tony Oaks and Thunder Roars for the racing win. Skills goes to Tony Oaks and Thunder Roars. And then for the donut competition, this goes to MJ Solario and El Toro Loco. And then for freestyle, it goes to Brandon, Vincent, and Gravedigger. And ending the weekend with 28 points is Gravedigger. So not as much highlights, but I'll show them here quickly via our friend Zacher, who just, by the way, who just hit 100,000 subscribers on his YouTube channel just a few minutes ago. So congratulations to our friends for the big milestone.
Yay.
Showing here. I think you guys can see them on your screens, right?
Yeah, I love this 4 FPS.
Yeah, it's trying out here. It's trying out here, but as the show goes, they said it wasn't the greatest. The one thing I do want to talk about Fargo is, as well as Tacoma as well. They keep having the same floors as every other year, but they won't update them, and that is kind of a big problem, especially for these two for arenas with huge floors. Which actually kind of want to start bringing in Paris, France, with Hot Wheels for a moment. Hot Wheels did have racing. Not saying that Fargo and Tacoma didn't, but Paris did have racing ramps. The thing that I want to start seeing here as a track update for both Fargo and Tacoma with racing ramps, since they're both huge floors out there. What do you guys think?
Yeah, that's definitely a thing with like I want to say arena stadiums. Like they're like stadium venues that are like in the format of arena shows. They definitely do have a lot of room to add like racing lanes and other stuff like that for Fargo, Tacoma, and Reno too. But just seeing this layout every single year, I mean, it is good, better than just having the single pod in like a small arena. But I mean, come on, you can add racing lanes there instead of doing it just like dirt NASCAR or something.
Talking about NASCAR, I forgot, and I just realized the Clash was this last weekend, this past Saturday too. We'll talk about it here.
Well, there you go.
How about
Thank you. You mentioned NASCAR.
My pleasure.
So NASCAR.
I forgot that happened too.
Starting their season in a few weeks, but they did have what could possibly be the last Clash at the LA Coliseum, and they originally were supposed to have the race on Sunday, but because of the weather being a huge factor into all of this, they had to move the race on to Saturday. Now, unfortunately, the original plan for Saturday is that it was just going to be like heat wave practices and qualifying for positions, in which they had to scrap all of that and just go as they go. And so basically, yeah, your winner of the LA Clash was once again Denny Hamlin, and quote unquote beating your favorite racer. Okay, Denny, if you say so. But other than that, they say that the race was not the best in general. Also, that they did cancel the halftime performance with MGK, which probably, I don't know, everyone probably might have agreed. It was probably for the best. But after the Clash race, we had the Mexico Series run their race after, and everyone says that was a better race than the Clash was. And of course, they put this race on FS2, and the winner of that race is the Mexican himself, Daniel Suarez, and the number 99 Quaker State on the Mexico Series. Congratulations to both of these drivers. As like I previously said, the Daytona 500 is the season opener for NASCAR's 76th season. And so that pretty much is it. Now we'll move on back onto monster trucks here with Providence, Rhode Island. And Dorsey, you were there, correct?
Yes, I was. I was there for both Saturday shows. So we're going to start off with the Friday evening show. This was first the first time for this tour to finally have bracket style racing. So we're starting off with Zach Garner and Wildside taking home the first bracket style racing win of this tour, beating out Kristen Anderson and Gravedigger. And to make it all simple, Kristen swept the entire rest of the event and took the overall event championship with 31 points. Now for the Saturday afternoon show, Cody Saucier and Dragon gets the win over Kristen Anderson and Gravedigger. Armando Castro takes home the skills competition. Angelina Knock picks up the donut win. And then Armando picks up the freestyle win. But Kristen, being very consistent, literally placed in second in the first 3 competitions. And then I believe third. Yes, third place in freestyle. She picked up the overall. And then, man, oh man, Saturday evening, what a show this was. I went from probably one of the worst arena shows I've ever went to, which was the afternoon show, to probably one of the best I've ever seen for the evenings. I don't know what they did to the trucks, but they decided to go all out on this show. Chad Tingler returns in this show after missing out basically the first 2 shows. Unfortunately, truck issues and mechanical, electrical issues with that truck. He made it to the final round of racing, but Cody Saucier takes the win, beating out Chad Tingler and Overboard. Mondo Castro, always consistent in skills, picking up the skills win. And then Cody Saucier picking up the donut, the freestyle, and then the overall event championship with 29 points. And now for the Sunday afternoon show, I really don't know what happened here. I haven't even seen any footage of this show. But Armando Castro beats Cody Saucier in racing. Armando also picks up the skills win. Cody Saucier and Dragon picks up the donut win. And then Zach Garner and Wildside picks up the freestyle win. And then ending off the weekend is Armando Castro and El Toro Loco picking up the final event championship.
Now, I do want to take this over to Dorsey. Like you said, you were there. Do you think this was a better show than last year's show? Or the 2 shows that you went to?
First show, no. I don't know. That first show, a lot of trucks were having problems, which is none of their fault, but just overall, I thought that afternoon show just wasn't really, everyone wasn't really going hard enough in that show. But then the evening one, man, they were hitting jumps like they were, it's the final weekend here. They were performing very well. Chad Tingler's driving like he's still driving with Feld. This man had the best momentum and the best height I've ever seen in Providence, probably in a long time. And just overall, it was a really fun weekend.
Now, I do want to talk about this one specific driver. And I know you got to interview her in your interview series, which you can go check out on Dorsey's YouTube. And that is Angelina Knock. And you did send us a video of her freestyle moves, which honestly, I'm surprised she did this twice this weekend as well. So I don't see this on your profile on Instagram here.
I didn't post it. It was on my story.
All right, so I'll go over here to Reagan, who was there on Friday, which she did do this on Saturday too. And that is that cool little nose pick wheelie that she did off the pod. Now, if I can find it here real quick, somewhere around. It has to be somewhere around here. Which is that?
A few moments later.
Okay, I guess I don't find it. Which okay. So let's talk about that nose pick wheelie that she's been doing lately. And honestly, I think to do it twice on the same weekend must be a good sign for a rookie driver. Because you don't typically see a lot of that going on. Sometimes you do see that, but more from the pros or the veterans. But from out of a rookie, you don't see that almost every weekend.
Yeah, no, I think this past weekend this was definitely Angelina's best showing.
Right. And then also one thing that also happened was that Kurt Kramer still goes on with the stoppies that he's actually been trying to improve on every weekend. Now I also don't find any footage on this as well, but it's basically living rent free in my head. Let's talk about that, Will, for a
Yeah.
moment.
Unfortunately, I wasn't able to see it. The afternoon show, he broke in the first round of racing. He couldn't compete in skills. And then for the evening show, he tried to do it, and he just couldn't get it up. So I wasn't able to see the amazing popper of Kurt Kramer.
Yeah, Kurt's been trying this since Omaha 2023, and I was able kind of to witness this firsthand on the Sunday afternoon show. But ever since then, he's been trying more and more on that skill, which is great to see. And you don't, we may see this out of drivers like apart from the fellow drivers, you kind of see this out of every other independent driver, I should say, like Zach Garner, Dalton Weiner, basically all the other guys, right? But seeing this out of Kurt Kramer is something really special because for years, team the Hall Bros Racing, more specifically Mark Hall as well, they stick to the nice low wheelies for skills, but you can't go wrong with wheelies. Last year, Mark Hall did try a new move, which is a reverse popper, but this year, Kurt is straight up starting to get better on those poppers, and I can't wait to see more out of that, more from both as well, actually. But honestly, that is just awesome to see out of Kurt trying more things for the skills competition other than just wheelies. And I think this is where I say David is missing out on. I know he's not doing any backflips yet, more with that chassis, but poppers is something that he hasn't talked with us here yet, and so I think he's starting to miss out. Hoping he was here today. Uh, but that was Providence, Rhode Island. Now we'll start moving on to Belmont Park, New York, at the UBS Arena, and I'm gonna let the Tennessee man Nafagen take it away.
That's right. Arena Championship Series Central goes on to Belmont Park, New York for not one, not two, not three, but four events this weekend. Now, one thing to note here is that Jamie Sullivan, the driver of Monster Mutt Dalmatian, was out this weekend for an injury. So, filling in, taking her spot, it is the man that can do it all from driving monster trucks to singing Despacito at your neighborhood gazebo. Joe Dennis takes the helm, starting with Friday evening timed racing this weekend. The first winner is Fernando Martinez in El Toro Loco. He also takes the skills competition win and winning donuts in freestyle and overall. How about that? Is teeny man Weston Anderson in the Gravedigger. Moving on to Saturday afternoon, Fernando Martinez goes 2 for 2, winning time racing. Just Get Her Done too. Brandon Teluchka wins skills. Brianna Mahan and Scooby Doo takes the donuts and freestyle wins, but it was short. Weston Anderson gets another overall event championship, 2 points over Brianna and Fernando. Moving on to Saturday night, Brianna Mahan gets her first time racing win of the weekend, going 2 for 3. Actually, no, never mind. My math is wrong. He gets the skills competition win, Wes Anderson does. He also gets donuts. Brianna Mahan wins freestyle. And look at that. Via tiebreaker, Brianna Mahan gets the overall event championship on Saturday evening. Your final show on Saturday afternoon. Fernando Martinez gets himself another timed racing win. Gravedigger wins skills, donuts, and freestyle. And shocker, he wins the overall. So it's been a good weekend for Weston, getting 3 out of the 4 overall event championships of the weekend.
That is right. Now, unfortunately, like you said, Jamie Sullivan was injured the week before, which brought in Joe Dennis. And now we'll look into the points here in a little bit after we finish all of them. First off, Joe Dennis. Second of all, this did kind of affect Dalmatian's point placement after the entire weekend, uh, which is not really a good sign with when Jamie comes back because she's gonna have to make up a lot of points. Uh, you know, but right now, I think at this point, just give the win to Weston. He already has it at this point just locked in. He's already 100 points far ahead from Fernando. Uh, and honestly, yep, that's pretty much as much as I have to say for it. Now that was all the arenas. Now we move on to the stadiums. Starting off with Anaheim, California in Angel Stadium. And this is I believe the third weekend here in Anaheim. And I'll go through this here real quick. Starting off, so we had actually no, we had only 2 shows this past weekend in Anaheim, California. And it is once again with Stadium Championship Series West. And let's admit it, when are they not getting out of California? Because boy, they've been there the whole entire month. Starting off with show 1, Saturday afternoon, or Saturday evening, excuse me. Starting off with Son of a Digger, Ryan Anderson defeating Caleb Blood in Soldier Fortune. And on to your skills challenge, it is Adam Anderson and Gravedigger taking the win. And for freestyle, it is not Barry, Camden, or Adam, or Ryan. This time it was Caleb Blood and Soldier Fortune taking freestyle competition win. But still winning the overall points is Ryan Anderson and Son of a Digger with 31 points, ending the night. And moving on to show, I believe, 5. I think this is show 5, but this is the second show of the weekend. And now, take a guess. Who are your finalists for show or the Sunday show on this third weekend in Anaheim?
Is it a Mark McDonald versus Chuck Warner?
Nah, for your guess. Okay. So it was Colt Stevens in Thunder
Yeah, Mac
Wars.
D.
It was Colt Stevens in Thunder Wars and Ryan Anderson in Son of a Digger. Now, like I said before, we continue. Like I said it after I finished up Fargo, the rain was a big factor, mostly throughout California, and throughout the entire weekend. They almost had floods. Uh, you know, like in the clash for NASCAR in the clash, they moved the race from Sunday to Saturday. But for Monster Jam, that is no problem. Uh, rain or shine, let them rip. Thunder Roars and Colt Stevens defeated Ryan Anderson and Son of a Digger in a mudfest of a race. Well, more before it became a mudfest. And then for skills, it is Barry Musauer and Zombie. And for freestyle, it was Joe Foley for the second weekend straight, winning the freestyle competition with El Toro Loco with a crazy run. I'll pull up here in just a moment. But the overall does not go to Camden Murphy or Ryan or Adam. This time it goes back to Barry Musauer and Zombie, ending the weekend with 29 points. And honestly, I think this show probably was cooking for a mud show. Don't y'all agree?
Oh yeah, it was definitely the better show.
Pulling up.
The better show with the different winners wise. Like look, Adam placed 11th in freestyle in Gravedigger. That is something you don't see. And of course, Colt Stevens winning racing is another cool thing to see.
Yeah, talking about it in the rain specifically, which is something you don't really see. Now, I did actually want to bring this up since it was stuck. It actually came up in my head watching that clip on Sunday. When you think about mud shows, you think about this is a big advantage for the Andersons or someone who has had more experience in the outdoors than anyone else. But for Colt Stevens, who sure, he had his time in the stadiums driving Zombie in 2018, Brodozer 2019 and 2020, Thunder Roars just last year, a couple of mud shows as well. But this year, I don't think he was pulling out all the stops in Anaheim, more specifically, and racing. Uh, and how he got there is just amazing. As well for the skills competition. Now, of course, in the mud show, you can't do much. And we've seen this firsthand in Nashville as well, where Ryan Anderson tried to do a bicycle off one of the ramps and on the mud, but wasn't able to get it. Uh, but in a show like that, you kind of take advantage of what you got, and you know, you don't go hiding. For Barney Musawari, he showed up, tried a wheelie off one of the jammers, and then for the second hit here, he goes for a big sky wheelie off the big ramp, which is about to show here in just a moment. Uh, but Barry winning a mud show skills competition is actually kind of cool to see. Uh, Beating all the Andersons for it too, and then for freestyle, I think this man is just straight up not. I don't think he's just not afraid anymore. He's starting to get more comfortable with the truck, and more specifically with the with the name he's running. Since when he ran Axe, he didn't. It's like you have to take care of the name and everything with the body more specifically. But since he has a felt body on, he doesn't have to care for it much. Of course, you have to fix it from time to time, but Joe Foley's been popping off once again. And that was Anaheim, California. Now we move on to Indianapolis, Indiana, for the motorsports capital of the world, for some Monster Jam of Stadium Series East. And this is Tom Mentz's last time in Indianapolis. But we will talk about good old Indianapolis because I think at this point, Stadium East is just starting to become the most repetitive uh, stadium tour ever. And for me and Dorsey, we're not the best fan of Gravediggers here. Last year we weren't the biggest fans of Thunderers, but this year, more specifically for Tyler Meninga, or more actually not just Tyler Meninga, more for the entire Gravedigger team. Moving on to Indianapolis, Indiana, and I would like to call out Nafagen. Would you like to do the honors?
Yes, I will. So, Monster Jam goes back to what is dubbed as the house that Peyton Manning built. But this weekend, they go to the house that Tom Mentz built, Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis. And boy, oh boy, what shows we got this weekend. So, starting off with Saturday night, your racing finals is between John Gordon Bad Company and Tyler Meninga and Gravedigger. And guess who won that one? It was Tyler Meninga getting the win. He also wins the Two Wheel Skills Challenge, but Tom Mentz, by 0.08 of a point, he wins freestyle over Colvinard and the Black Pearl. The Black Max D gets a freestyle win, but it is Tyler Meninga getting the overall event championship, first one of the weekend. And then Sunday afternoon, your racing finals. Wow, looks like yesterday didn't even happen. It's John Gordon and Bad Company going up against Tyler Meninga and Gravedigger. And guess what? Gravedigger wins again. Moving
Man,
on
they
to the
forgot to
two.
change the script.
Oh, they sure did, big time. But hey, not for this one though. Max D wins the Two Wheel Skills Challenge. And moving on to freestyle, Gravedigger Tyler Meninga gets the win. And look at that. Another overall event championship for Tyler.
Yawn.
We're just sick and tired of this point.
This tour is cursed.
This tour, I swear. Okay, before we get to the bad parts about this show, I think this was not entirely bad as Fargo was, or as it's claimed to be, but this tour is just being so repetitive, and I hate it. And I think the 2018 me is starting to kick in once again. This is where I absolutely like despited Team Gravedigger, most importantly, is the summer where they just won every show. But at this point, I think it's just mostly with one driver, and that is Tyler Meninga. Sure, he's talented, but does he need to win everything? No, and I think a lot of people are starting to agree. Like, sure, Tyler Meninga is a great driver and all, uh, but like he just keeps winning. And can we get something else for once? For racing, some of course damages happen. Of course, things happen. Penalties happen too. But man, Tyler Meninga is back there in the same finals picture every day, every time. And then John Gordon, for it to be John Gordon and Tyler Meninga twice the same weekend again. Actually, John Gordon's been in the finals that almost as much as Tyler has, or more than anyone has in the entire tour, other than Tyler. But brother, we're getting just tired of this Gravedigger just winning everything. And I know Dorsey has.
Well, they forgot to change the script. They had John Gordon mess up during his race, both finals, and then Tyler wins. That literally happened both race and finals.
I'm going to have to look back at how many times John Gordon and Tyler Meninga faced off in racing. I'll give you that here in a sec.
But yeah, man. Well, like before we even move on to the second show of that weekend, I do want to talk about the one thing that everyone is actually excited to bring up, and that was the all black Max D, good old Max D Black, my beloved. For anyone that knows and watches STSL, this is the truck that one of the bodies I like to run in from time to time in STSL. Also, this is, I can confirm that in STSL Road Finals 3, I will be running Max D Black. And to see this come back, and so seeing this come back without I think it looks just as good without the fenders. It looks the same entirely. They gave it the silver rims with the black. I mean, it's the silver beadlocks with the black rims. It's just the same as it was in Road Finals 19 for the Racing Encore. Man, that Max D Black body, and I understand why it's Tom's favorite. I think it's just everyone's favorite. Now we did see someone, kind of disagree with how it looked, but with that everybody disagreed with that person with their disagreement, and they're like, you know what, it's as good as it is. But Max D Black running this past weekend was awesome to see. Now, what did you guys think of that body?
It was definitely awesome to see that body come back, and definitely iconic from the World Finals 19 Encore when they had the Max D 15th anniversary. Getting to see that thing do a big old sky wheelie, and then getting to see it back here in Indianapolis, it's an awesome thing to see.
Definitely, probably one of my favorite Max D bodies from over the years. And seeing Tom take a few wins and with this body is definitely going to be a special moment for him.
Right, now we'll move on to show 2. And of course, we saw Tyler Meninga and Gravedigger face off John Gordon's Bad Company in the racing finals once again. Same old finals finish. This time it was Max D who took the skills win in an awesome fashion, good old Max D fashion, with the maximum moonwalk off the backflip. Now he did go on the same ramp, or I believe the same ramp, for another moonwalk, and doesn't get flips it over. Didn't get to save, but still got the win. Now we'll talk about freestyle here. I don't think it was the best, or I don't know. It wasn't the best thing. Once again, Tyler Meninga, as always, like forever, winning freestyle once again. Pretty much it. Now, unfortunately, finishing freestyle, Tom Meents ended right on the roll cage, right on the roof, and caused them to be injured. And that was not a good sight to see at all. Everyone was praying that he was okay. He did get wheeled off. He did get wheeled off by the loader while he was still in the truck. He was waving to the crowd. It looked like he was okay. Loader got him into the pits. But we're just waiting on word to see if Tom was injured or not. And by via Monster Jam, this actually just yesterday. It or was it Monday? No, it was just yesterday, right? Tuesday.
I believe so.
Okay, so via Monster Jam on Instagram or social medias, announced that Monster Jam driver Tom Mentz sustained an injury on Sunday, February 4th, 2024, at Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis, Indiana. Tom is looking forward to a full recovery, but will be unable to compete during this time. Tom appreciates your overwhelming support and well wishes as he looks towards his continued future with Monster Jam. So unfortunately, for the time being, Tom will be out. No timetable as to when he'll return. Uh, who knows? This kind of is more of a flashback to 2017 when he got injured as well. There was no timetable as well. I think the timetable was till summer. Of course, he missed out World Finals 18. And then his replacement was Colton Eichelberger jumping from the Arena Triple Threat. That is a name you actually don't hear on this podcast as well. A Triple Threat series. Colton Eichelberger moved on from Arena East over to the stadium tour that Tom was in 2017 and drove the Woman. Now, as for this year, we're only down to 2 Max 3 drivers compared to 4 or 3. No, actually 4 in 2017. Now we're down to 2. Which is Tom Mentz and Blake Granger, who hasn't driven at all yet. Last time he drove was back in Liwa, Abu Dhabi, this past December. Which now actually kind of begs the question: who do you guys think might come in for Tom for the time being? There's also speculations out of everyone that since the truck was also damaged pretty heavily, the truck might have to be a CRD. Uh, what are your guys' guesses? So I'd like to start off with Nafajan on this topic.
There is only one man who can come in and save the legacy of the Wilman Max D. He does have experience with the Wilman. His name is Lupe Sosa. I'm kidding, I don't know who's going to come in. Maybe somebody with
How I
Wilman
expect you to-
experience. I don't know. I just want to wait and find a official statement instead of speculating.
Yeah, I feel like the number one list right now, since the international tour to start till March, is that I guess Charlie Pauken just filled in for Lindsey Reed, and maybe he's the fill-in driver for that tour. So I mean, it makes the most sense for him to be the one that does it, or they just bring Blake Granger in.
A former Gravedigger driver goes to Max D.
Right.
Pauken's been driving everything.
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah, he
no
drove
doubt.
Stone Crusher one time.
He's
He
driven
just-
it.
He's been jumped to like every different eye.
He's driven Stone Crusher, Monster Mutt, El Toro Loco, Megalodon.
He's driven a lot of names.
He drove
including
Rottweiler
Excalibur,
first,
Digger. Like you said, Monster Mud being the one truck he's won a championship with as well. Now, thinking logically here, of course it would. I mean, my thought being logically is Blake Granger, but this driver was just back for a stunt back in July in Nashville, and that is Colton Eichelberger. He was on the Thunder Wars, but I don't think, I don't know what he's doing now. But I think, and that's only my guess, I think I don't know, maybe with some hesitation or anything, but I think Colton Eichelberger would come back and fill in for Tom. Let's even think about, not even think about it. We all just know his rival is Tyler Meninga. So And also one of the other drivers he's been with before is Tristan England. They've been all on tour before too. So if Colton Eichelberger does come back unexpectedly and faces off the same guys he's been with before, I think we're all going to be in for a treat. If it's Blake Granger, I think it's going to be the same as well. He's no stranger to Tyler and Tristan, but logically wise, Blake Granger, but kind of out there, it's more Colton Eichelberger. Um, but that's just my guess, my speculations. We don't know what's going to go on with Max D as well. For Tom Ince, like I said, there's no timetable. Who knows if this might have to go on past May, past World Finals. But who knows? We'll have to see till official statement of when he'll return and who we'll get this weekend in Tampa, Florida. And so that is the arenas. That is all the stadium shows we had this past weekend, or might as well all the 5 shows we had this past weekend. That was the weekend of all time. Don't y'all agree?
It was definitely
Oh,
a
absolutely.
weekend.
So that'll kind of start going on to next weekend's show, starting off with the Independence. We have the Ram Motorsport Spectacular in Lethbridge, Alberta. AB is Alberta, correct?
No, it's actually Saskatchewan. Yeah, it's Alberta.
Okay. So Alberta, I got to start learning all the, man, I can't even think right now.
Providence.
All
Or
the
province.
all the abbreviations for the states and provinces and basically everywhere. So Lethbridge, Alberta, Canada for the Ram Motorsport Spectacular. And this is once again with the Straight Up Racing team, starting off with Travis Ibarra in the Cali Kid, Marvin Anderson, everyone's favorite black and green wrecking machine with identity theft, Carson Williams with the Napa Auto Parts Monster Truck, Bill Payne in Rockstar, and Dallas Glenn Rogers with Spitfire. And then Kicker Monster Truck tour will be in Hobbs, New Mexico, with Mike Vaughters driving Black Stallion, Chris DeHoyos Higher Education, Tim Hall Jr. Jurassic Attack, Joe Uri with Kamikaze, Overkill Evolution with Mikey Vaughters, and Steve Thompson under Taurus. And then we have Hot Wheels Monster Trucks live in Trenton, New Jersey, with Cody Hallman and with 5 Alarm, Cody Smith and Bigfoot, Preston Perez and Bone Shaker, Taylor Holman in Demo Derby, Mike Mentor in Gangster, Devin Wheeler in Megarex, and Bobby Holman with Tiger Shark. Excuse me. Berlin. Bro, I believe this is Deutschland. So 5 Alarm will be driven by Craig Christensen, Rebecca Schnell with Bigfoot, Nick Miguez and Bone Shaker, Allison Patrick with Demo Derby, Darren Schnell and Gangster, Rex Steffens under Megarex, and Tiger Shark with Anthony Ritter. And then we have Lake City, Florida with Bounty Hunter under Jimmy Crean, Brutal with Dan Dahlgren, Hot Tamale with Mike Brister, Scarlet Bandit with Don Crean, and Shark Bite with Rob Potter. And then we also have Monster Truck Wars in Lexington, Virginia with Ann Brode and Muddy Girl Camouflage, Mike Hawkins in Outlaw, Kaylee Engstrom in Shark Attack, Aaron Basil with T-Rex, and then they will also be in Glen Rose, Texas with Mike Harper in Outlaw, Preston Collins in Shark Attack, Adam Wilson in Sheriff, and Devin Jones with T-Rex. And then the All-Star Monster Truck Tour will be in Birmingham, Alabama, continuing their point series, which we'll actually have Dorsey look here in just a moment, or we'll look here into in just a moment. Apparently, the lineup for this weekend. To be announced driver with All American. And then we also have Elliot Miller with Colossus, Athena Kozel in Little Miss Dangerous, John Zimmer Jr. in Terminal of Velocity, and John Zimmer Sr. with Uproar. And then Toughest Monster Truck Tour returning, continuing their season in Youngstown, Ohio. Darren Basil under Blockhead, Jerry Beck with Dirt Crew, Downtown Jack Brown with Dirt Crew Dozer, Travis Groth and Maximus, Tailgater under Tim Jones, and Tyler Groth with the Veteran. And so now we're down to the 5 shows we have this weekend and with Monster Jam, I should say. Uh, First up, and this is West, and I will be going to the Sunday show this weekend. This is Arena West in Denver, Colorado, with the same lineup as always. We also have Arena East in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania, and then Arena Central in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. So we have 2 shows in Pennsylvania. Now we'll start off with Denver, Colorado. 4 shows this weekend, and I'm gonna start off with Nofigen. Who are your overall picks for this weekend?
For this weekend, man, it is hard to pick. So I'm going to start off with Brandon Vincent grabbing 2 overall event wins. The other one, I think Knoxville man Dalton Winer will grab 1. And then for the other one, I'm going to go with Ashley Sanford.
All right. Now I'm gonna pass it on over to Dorsey. Who are your picks for the overalls in Denver?
I'm gonna go with 3 for Brandon Vincent, and I'll do 1 for Tony Oaks.
I might have to agree here. I might change it up a little bit. So I think it's gonna go 2 for Brandon, 1 for Tony, and 1 for Dalton. No in exact order. I probably bet on the Sunday show that I'm going to. I bet Brandon Vincent will get the overall anyways. Uh, but yes, and you will kind of and if it's anyone expecting a live from show this time again, I am coming back with that series once again in Denver. Now we're moving on to Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania, with Arena East, and I believe we have this. We have 4 shows this weekend. Let me make sure of that real quick. Yes, we do. So we have 4 shows, 4 overalls. Who are your picks, Navajan?
I'm going to go with Kristen getting 1, Cody Saucier getting 1, and Armando Castro getting 2.
And Dorsey.
I think it's gonna go 1 across the board, 1 for Kristen, 1 for Armando, 1 for Cody, and 1 for Zach Garner.
And my 4 overall picks, I think I'm going to have to go with 2 for Kristen and 2 for Armando. The points battle is getting tight once again. Kristen Anderson just regained the points position the points lead position. I'm having a day out here. But Armando's going to be fighting out there once again for it. And now we're going on to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania for Arena Central. And the order is going to be once again Nofigen, Dorsey, Lane. Nofigen?
For Arena Series Central, I'm going to go with Teeny Man Weston Anderson grabbing 3 of them. And then 1 will go to, I'm going to say Fernando Martinez.
Yeah, unfortunately, Jamie Sullivan once again won't be driving this weekend because I would have said I think she would have gotten 1 if she was driving, but I'm gonna have to agree with Jeremy over here. 3 for Weston, 1 for Fernando.
And so my picks for the 4 overalls, I think Weston's going to clean house this weekend in Pittsburgh. No doubt Jamie is not there, so I think easy competition for Weston. And so now we're moving on to the next few stadium shows, starting off with Tampa, Florida for Stadium Championship Series East. 2 shows this upcoming weekend. And who are your 2 overall picks, starting off with Nofigen?
I am going to go with Tyler Meninga winning both. Sorry, not sorry. It's bound to happen.
And this tour, I swear. Well, there's one good thing is that Nick Pagliarulo is returning this weekend. So, with him returning, I still think Tyler's winning both of them. Yay.
I don't disagree. I know Tyler Meninga is already 7-for-8 overalls, with Tristan taking one of them, but he's going 9-for-10. So 2 overalls for Tyler. I think this man, I swear, I was hyped for this tour, but at the same time, I think I'm starting to lose interest, mostly because of Tyler Meninga. So yeah,
Yeah,
no surprise here. So not actually that will lead on to the next thing that we'll talk about here is the points going into week 6. Starting off with Stadium West with your current leader Ryan Anderson and Son of Digger with
Wait.
2. You're saying something?
We still got one more show to go over.
Thank you.
We got Houston, Texas.
All right, and so finally they're out of California for once. That is Stadium Series West, finally coming out of California and on to Texas, only to go back to California right after. And this is one show, I believe, this weekend. Is that right?
Yes, it is.
So 1 show, 1 overall, starting off with Nafagen.
I'm definitely going to go with Anderson getting this. And by Anderson, I mean Ryan Anderson, son of a digger.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Camden Murphy and on Dragonwood.
Honestly, I kind of see where you guys are coming from. So I think I'm gonna also have to pick Camden Murphy and Bakugan Dragonoid. As much as I want to say Ryan Anderson and Son of Digger, I think I want to start seeing this points battle start picking up. As I was about to start talking about, which we're about to talk here with the points series coming into week 6. Your current leader is Ryan Anderson and Son of a Digger with 285 points, and only 16 points behind is Camden Murphy and Bakugan Dragonoid in second. Adam Anderson and with Gravedigger with third, 267. Corey Rommel and Megalodon 228, and Barium Sauer picking up 1 overall last weekend with 217. Going on to Stadium East, Tyler Meninga is still your leader, only 30 points ahead of Tristan England and HB Diggertron, 255 versus 225. And then in third, it is Tom Mentz, or upcoming driver, and Max D with 193. And third, Bryce Kenny and the Great Clips Mohawk Warrior with 179. John Gordon and Bad Company with 175. That is your top 5 for East. You're going into Arena Central. Like I said, might as well give the championship to this guy because Weston Anderson and Gravedigger has 483. And then right in second is Fernando Martinez and El Torlock with 359. Brandon Tolashko just got it done too with 334. Brianna Mahan, Scooby-Doo 327. And dropping, 4 points from second to fifth is Jamie Solomon and Joe Dennis with the Dalmatian 321. And then moving on to Arena East. This is a tough points battle, especially for an arena. Christian Anderson and Gravedigger, your current leader with 336. 16 points behind is Armando Castro and Ultralic with 320. Cody Socia and Dragon with 296. Zach Gardner and Wildside with 240. And Angelina Knock. Wasn't Chad Taylor just there last week? Angelina Knock and Megalodon with 183 and fifth. And then for Stadium Series, I get them both mixed up, Stadium and Arena. Arena West. And you might as well give the whole tour to Brandon Vincent because he has 531. And then Tony Oaks and Thunderverse with 433. Dalton Widener with 409. Ashley Sanford with 352. And MJ Solorio with 342. That is your top 5 of all 5 series coming into week 6. Now, I did want to talk about All-Stars since we did mention their points series going on to this weekend. Go on to here.
I have them up right now if you want me to go over them.
And actually, they just released them today, which is the best part. So go ahead, Dorsey.
All right. This points battle between the top two is looking really good. I'm gonna go from last to first here. Right now, sitting in sixth place is Little Miss Dangerous, uh, driven by Athena. I don't know what her last name is, but Athena K
Ozel.
with 233 points. What is it?
Ozel.
All
Or
right.
Kozel.
In fifth place. In fifth place is Elliot Miller and Colossal with 310. In fourth place is the reigning champion for All Star last year, Triton Robbins with Crazy Train with 347. In third place is Montana Robbins, the driver playing crazy with 355. And man, we are jumping a lot here. In second place is John Zimmer Sr. with Uproar with 417. And only 6 points ahead is John Zimmer Jr. Terminal Velocity with 423. So the battle of the Zimmers still going strong.
That is right. And as for last year, Crazy Train was the champion, and seeing him in fourth place is crazy. Knowing that the Zimmers have completely taken over All Star Monster Truck Tour, and this couldn't have been a better independent tour going on this first quarter of the year. Uh, Great action we've been seeing so far, apart from West Valley City. Uh, but yeah, honestly, great shows going on for All Star. And so that'll be just about it here for week 5. And it is now we're going on to week 6. A lot of great action coming on with Denver, Wilkes-Barre, Pittsburgh, Tampa, and Houston, which I almost forgot about. Um, you know, it's starting to look great for especially for arenas East and Stadium West with a tight points battle for both of those series. Um, like I said, we don't know who will be taking over Max D. Probably it will be Blake Granger. Don't take my word for it, but that's just our guesses. Um, but other than that, I think that'll be just about it from this week. Do you guys remember anything else?
Really.
It's been a good week. Can't wait to see the rest of the action this February.
That is right. And so before we start closing off, I would like to just announce if you guys have any footage from any shows that you guys are going to, go ahead and share them or DM at STSL off the track, or you can also DM one of these guys here, Nafigen Dorzi, or me at Lane Forest 2. Um, for any footage that we can instantly keep up here with awesome highlights that we don't have to start searching accounts. And if you share your footages, there's a good chance it might end up on the video version here on YouTube. But if you guys got any footages from these upcoming weeks, most specifically week 6, go ahead and share them once again at SDSL off the track. And that'll just about start being it. We're going to start wrapping up here with starting off with that. Jeremy, where can we find you?
You can find me at Nofogen on Instagram and YouTube.
And then Zach, where can we find you?
You can find me at DoorZ on Instagram and YouTube.
And then for your host with the most, I am at Lane_Flores2. My page, there we go. That is my page. Also on YouTube, you can follow me at Lane Flores Mora. And don't forget, once again, to follow SDSL off the track on Instagram. And don't forget to follow the main account, Steel Time Sports League. The Beam and P shows have been running great so far. Great competition that's leading into the Road Finals in Nashville this upcoming March, of course, and virtual with Beam and P, or Beam and G, I mean. But other than that, that is starting to be about it. Don't forget to go by and buy some merch that will be provided in the links down below. Don't forget to listen to SDSL off the track on Spotify, YouTube, and Spotify for podcasters. And that'll be it from us here on the SDSL Off the Track. That was week 5. And we hope to see you this upcoming weekend. That was SDSL Off the Track. And week 6 starts right now.
Yay, Max D.